Kia ora koutou katoa and welcome to Frogs on Friday, our employment and market update. Today we're going to be focusing on preparing for your job search. So some extra tips. We've held talent webinars in both Auckland and Wellington. So some extra tips there to really put the front foot forward in securing a new opportunity. We'll go through Mahi Media, where we've talked a lot about the Great Resignation, but today we'll talk about the Great Regret. We'll go through some of our hot jobs this Friday, and we have a special video today. And Jack Loader will be talking about those tips for your job search. And as always, we'll look through our poll results. Okay, so let's get started with Mahi Media. All right, so we've, again, as I said, we've talked a lot about the Great Resignation, and there has been a bit of debate about whether that really hit New Zealand or not, but I feel like there was a huge shift in people, particularly towards the end of last year and the beginning of this year, with things starting to settle a little bit now and some less movement between roles. But what we're seeing as well is perhaps some of those people have found that the grass wasn't actually greener when they've made that move. So we're seeing what's been called as the Great Regret. In the US, they found that 26% of people who moved during the Great Resignation actually turned out to regret that move. And the reasons for that are quite varied. So a big proportion of that was 40% had actually quit their role. I guess they'd got caught up in the hype of how it's the best market for job seekers and a great time to move, but perhaps jumped the gun a little bit and moved without securing another position first, and then found that it was actually harder than they expected to find a new role or new position. Then in the middle of the ground, so between 16 to 22%, there were some reasons there that they found that, actually, maybe the old job was better than I thought. And kind of the reverse of that, or complementing that, perhaps the new job wasn't quite what they were hoped for or didn't quite meet their expectations. And another reason at 22% was that they missed the people that they worked with at their old company. So I think there's some lessons here for Kiwis who perhaps have made the move or are looking at making the move to a new company this year. So my advice would be to, first of all, to do a bit of soul searching. So to really figure out what's important to you and what is going to make that potential move a success. So it's easy to be swayed by a bigger salary package in a new opportunity. But we've found over the years that money isn't everything. It's sure is a big driver, and particularly in these days with inflation, but it's not the be all and end all. So work out what are the things that are important to you. So is it the colleagues that you have at your current role? Is it the culture? Is it the direction and values of the company that you're going to? So really figure it out first, what's going to make that difference and help improve that job satisfaction in the next move. On that, once you've worked that out, I would say to give your current employer a chance first, so a chance to improve those conditions. So a lot of the time you come up across that situation where if they'd just known that there were issues or things that were, I guess, impacting your level of job satisfaction, if they'd had a chance to do something about it, they would have. So, we often see, and particularly this year or the last 12 months, we've seen a lot of counter offers or companies coming back to their employers and saying, okay, let us make these changes, and will this make a difference? So best to give them the chance to remedy the situation first. Another tip would be to do your homework on potential moves. So again, to be able to find out as much as you can about the company that you're considering, and to find out if it is going to be the right fit for you. Now, often that can be hard because, you know, what you see on the website can be different to the reality. But there's a lot that you can do in terms of researching their social media presence. There's often behind the scenes, talk to ex-employees or current employees there, or even suggest throughout the interviewing process if there's a chance for a meet and greet, or to, I guess, to get that peek behind the curtain beforehand to really help inform your decision. And the last one there is, if you have made the decision to leave your current employer, there's nothing they can do to improve circumstances, that it's always best to try to secure a new role first before quitting. So you don't want to be in that situation where you've made a rash decision, quit where you are, and then, as you say, as some of the people in the US have found, it's actually a little bit harder to find the right opportunity from there. So you might be kind of left in limbo for a period of time. So hopefully with those tips there, that'll help in making those good decisions and bettering your circumstances. Okay, so speaking of different opportunities, let's go through and have a look at some of the hot jobs this Friday. Okay, so first up we have a temp position, so it's paying between $27 to $32 per hour, plus all the holiday pay and usual bells and whistles there, for a training coordinator. This one's based in East Auckland, and it's running for a period of 6 weeks or so while they're looking for a permanent candidate to come on board. So it looks like quite a varied role supporting the training function, with a range of clerical and admin duties, so including reporting and record keeping. For this one, if you can get in touch with Kirsty Hennigan, she'll be able to tell you more about the position. Okay, we have a dispatch coordinator, again based in Auckland. This one's a permanent position, offering between $65,000 to $70,000 as a base salary. This one reports directly into the warehouse supervisor. Some of the key responsibilities will be facilitating on-time dispatching of product, and you will be part of involved in supervising and working with quite a large team there. You will need previous exposure to Microsoft Excel, emails, of course, and to be able to operate warehouse management systems, obviously with some previous warehousing experience. For this one, if you can get in touch with Hemi Podini for any extra details. Okay, and the last role, Wellington-based, is a principal advisor role. This one is looking at someone with either a background in strategic policy or systems strategy, and they're looking at building internal relationships across the government agency, as well as externally across the sector, to help set the direction within that area. For this one, if you can get in touch with Sophia Hubin, she'll be able to answer any questions and direct you to the policy team or government team in Wellington. Okay. So that's just a snapshot of the roles that we have available today. Okay, so we'll move on, and we have an introductory video to a very exciting event that's coming up. Awesome. So it's that time of year again when we roll into NZ Top Dog. Now, my home office dog, you can just see her, I think it's just her legs actually, in the shot behind me. So she's asleep on the job here, but it's tiring work being a home office dog, isn't it? And probably preferable to, she's usually running around and losing her ball under the couch multiple times a day. So if you think your dog does a better job of a home office dog than Bo here, feel free, make sure you get your entries in to NZ Top Dog, which will be kicking off in a couple of weeks. Okay, so let's go through to Jack, who's got some excellent tips for job seeking.
Yeah, thanks, Shannon. Kia ora koutou katoa. As mentioned, I'm Jack, sourcing specialist here at Frog Recruitment in Wellington, and I'm going to talk a little bit about planning your job search. Now, when you're planning to find a new role, there's a few simple tips that can make the process a lot easier. Firstly, ask yourself why you're looking for a new role. Establish what exactly you're looking for. You want to highlight your strengths and target your relevant roles. So the first thing you need to do is figure out why you're looking for a new role. What are your motivating factors? It may be you're unhappy or you're bored with your current role and you need a new challenge. You might not quite like the team environment, or you may just be looking to progress your career, take a step up, and you may have some goals you want to achieve. So once you sort of establish this why, it'll often pave the way to what exactly you're looking for in terms of the area or space your role's in. So previously I was in the project space, and I did a little bit of recruitment, quite liked it, and skipped forward to now, and I've transferred into recruitment, and I'm really enjoying it. So you want to really figure out what sort of space you want to be in, and also what sort of subject matter really interests you. So this can be, you may want to be looking after the environment or making a difference for people or health, maybe working with transport, whatever your interest is. Really look for those type of roles and the organisations that offer those type of roles and dig into those, really target the areas that you enjoy. You also want to look at the level that you're wanting to go for. Maybe you might be, for say, you're an advisor, you want to make a sideways move into another advisory role, into maybe a different subject matter though that more interests you. Or you may be looking to take that step up and for some development and looking to progress your career. You also want to look at your work environment. If you're looking for a really social, interactive team, or maybe just a more of an independent role, and this comes with your flexibility too. You might have kids at home or outside life factors, family, etc., and you may want to work limited hours on a certain day, or you want to work from home 2 days a week. Establish this and look for roles that offer this flexibility. Most do these days, or organisations offer the flexible working, which is really good. And then it comes down to another little thing called money. So you want to put yourself out there at a market value and at a rate that reflects your skills and experience. Another thing with money is you don't want to move just for the money. Short term, it may be the best thing, but long term, you want to look for what interests you, moving into a role that really interests you and where you can grow, where there's opportunities to progress your career. And then when you're searching for a role, you want to highlight these strengths that you have. So you look at your CV, you don't want to exaggerate anything. You just want to make sure they're emphasized, and that your CV and your LinkedIn profile, lots of employees, they'll look at these things first. You want to make sure your strengths are emphasized, highlighted, and that they reflect the role that you're looking for. They stand out in those certain competencies. Lastly, you want to target your relevant roles. You don't want to waste your time in roles that aren't interesting to you or you don't really want to do them. So you want to focus all your energy, because searching can take up a bit of energy, in searching for these relevant roles. And it's a mix of what you're good at and what you really want to do. So you sort of make your criteria, and you want to target your search on your criteria. And otherwise, apart from that, all the best, go well, and cheers.
Excellent. Some fantastic tips there from Jack, and good to hear that we're obviously on the same page with the importance of that soul searching phase, and really being able to pinpoint what's important to you and what you should be targeting going forward to make sure that you really go after that job satisfaction in your next role. Okay, so let's go through to the polls. All right, so last week we're talking about getting a little bit lazy these days. So we asked, has your exercise routine changed since the start of the pandemic? Bit of a mixed bag here. So 30% or 29 said yes, exercise more. Well done, those people. 35% yes, it's changed. I actually exercise less, and the rest no, hasn't really changed at all. So again, bit of a clap and a pat on the back to those who have actually upped their exercise and been able to maintain that through the last 2.5, 3 years or so. Okay, so what have we got this week? All right, so following on from the theme, with the hype of the Great Resignation, do you regret leaving your old job for a new one? So be interesting to see from the people who did actually make that move in the last, say, 9 months or so, if they're still think that was a good decision, or if they're actually regretting that now. So we'll see what the results come through from there. Well, that is it for today. We will see you back here, hopefully same time, 12:30 next week on Friday. Ngā mihi nui.